This is the time of year that is mid-April 2026. We typically start seeing the ads for Mother's Day, and it's quickly approaching. And so typically this time of year, I start, if I haven't already, contemplating how do I feel about that now? And what am I going to do in, on, or around Mother's Day for my mom? And so back in the late 90s is when I first began to fully acknowledge and accept that I didn't want to do all of that Mother's Day thing. I didn't want to, I just felt like I could not honor somebody who parented me that way. And so in the late 90s, it was, and I think I was in around my 30s at that time, mid 30s or something like that. And it was really taking its toll on me mentally and emotionally. The childhood trauma and the way I was raised to take care of her feelings and the extreme emotional abuse by being ostracized emotionally from the family dynamic, from her. There was never a bond or a deep connection or unconditional love. I was always pushed away and ridiculed and criticized and punished for being myself, for, in a lot of cases, being wiser beyond my years and just knowing things. And I just got shut down. My voice was totally silenced because for whatever reason, she couldn't take it. And it was even, I saw what I equate now to jealousy. And she would say things, and she said things recently that strongly lead me to believe that she was jealous of me. And she would say things like, well, I would always buy your Christmas presents last because you were your dad's favorite. But she would say it in a hurtful way. And it hurt me. It hurt the way she would say that. And she would always bring that up, that I was dad's favorite. And it hurt. It just hurt. I did not like to hear that. It just felt negative. It didn't feel loving. But yeah, I felt the jealousy. And I know that she was parenting me from her own childhood wounds. My mom was and still is a very big people pleaser. And I see it. I see the wounds that she communicates from. But I still have to honor what I feel. And so I am coming on today to share how I feel about it, the things I've done in the past around Mother's Day, and what I may or may not do this year. And what I'm going to do this year, I'm usually a big planner, and that's part of the control that I always sought to have so that I could manage the stress and anxiety in my life. That's why I feel like that's probably a big reason why a lot of people control. We want to stay in our comfort zone, and our comfort zone is also our control zone. But this year, I am going to contemplate it for sure, but I am not going to decide until I get closer, because I'm at a place now in my healing and my spiritual journey, on my spiritual path, where I am guided to let go of more layers of resistance, because I've always been a big planner. And when you plan, it means you're resisting the unknown. And that's what I've done for a long time. I wanted to know what was going to happen in advance because it helped me manage the stress and anxiety. And I'm being guided very strongly that it is okay to let go and trust in every moment, knowing that you are held, loved, and taken care of. And you will know what you need to know and do in divine timing. So that's what I'm strongly being guided. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do this year and how I'm going to handle it. There have been many years, like I was beginning to allude to uh, earlier, about the late 90s, when I decided I wasn't going to recognize my mom at all on Mother's Day. I wasn't going to honor her. And I did that for quite a few years in a row. And I had people, her sisters and my sister, call me at that time saying, Tina, you don't know. That's not okay, because they were trying to take care of her feelings too by doing that. My sister wanted me to call her so that she would feel better, so that would take pressure off of her and she wouldn't have to watch and do more things to keep our mom happy, because I wasn't, in their eyes, I was making my mom upset. And even later into, I don't know, I think it was 8 years later, maybe 2005, somewhere in there, where I was still not recognizing my mother on Mother's Day, and it was coming up. And my dad called me before Mother's Day, and he was a very quiet, externally gentle man, very passive. And they say if you're passive, then you're aggressive, passive aggressive. But I rarely saw my dad be aggressive. He internalized everything. But he called me before Mother's Day that year and kindly said to me, I want you to call your mom on Mother's Day. And I said, I can't do that, Daddy. I'm smiling because I'm getting upset, because I'm having the feelings come up. And I explained to him the best that I could in a short time, space of time, that I just couldn't do that without going into deep, dark details. And him being the gentle, quiet man that he was, we said our goodbyes kindly and gently, and that was it. I never heard anything else about it. And I didn't. I did not call her on Mother's Day. I didn't send her anything. And so since then, there have been times when I would, but it was always different. Like last year, I fell into it and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do, really? I don't want to do anything because I'm afraid not to. I don't want to make a choice to do something with her because I want to make sure that she feels okay. I really, since the 90s, have been really trying to focus on what do I want to do around that relationship, around Mother's Day. And so last year, what I did was I went to her. I said, Mama, I'm thinking about inviting you to our favorite restaurant because we have this one favorite meal and we both like to get the exact same thing as each other. And every time we've ever been to that restaurant, we get the exact same thing. And this is the only place we can get it, and they make it really well. We just like it. And so I told her, I said, I'm thinking about inviting you to come with me to this restaurant for a Mother's Day celebration. And I want you to know that I want to celebrate Mother's Day from a place and invite you with me from a place of us both being open to working on our mother daughter relationship. This is the way I handled it, that I wanted to go to the restaurant and I contemplated for weeks about, do I really want to invite her and go with her? And I decided that I was going to do that. And when I asked my guides, they said yes, it was a good idea. But when they say yes to something like this, we have to remember that that doesn't mean that everything is all healed and better between us in the relationship. It means that there's a reason, another reason perhaps, for more healing. So something could occur or be said during that time together that would be another healing moment. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind when your guides are recommending that you do something. It could be either side, it could go either way. And it's always, everything is always about our healing and our transformation and our growing and expanding closer to God, closer to our true self. And so I ended up going to the restaurant and I drove and I picked my mom up and but I did not pay for her food. I paid for my own. We went Dutch and we talked about, a little bit about, I wanted to keep it light. I didn't want to make it heavy. I wanted to bring up the positive side. We're working on our relationship, and then we kept it light because there have been plenty of times I have talked to her about the heavy stuff, what I didn't like, my anger, my fury. Many times we've had that conversation, and it makes her extremely uncomfortable every time, as it should, as it should. And but this time I wanted to keep it light. So that's what I did last year, and it went fine, fine. But it's always my time with her. Most of the time, can leave me a little bit drained, and I'm working on that because she is still such the people pleaser that I want to have honest conversations, authentic. I want to speak from my authentic self and I want to hear from your authentic self. And so oftentimes I leave that gathering or that situation just feeling drained and deeply reminded of the dysfunction. So I'm thinking I want to do that again next year, but I'm not going to fully commit until I get closer and I know without a doubt that that's what I want to do. And if I do that, because I want to eat some of that food too, I want to eat some of that food, our favorite meal from that restaurant. I'm looking forward to that. And I have been to that restaurant by myself just to have that meal and not invite her because I felt like that particular day that I just wasn't in that place where I wanted to be in that situation and have that kind of conversation, even though I'm coming from an authentic place, it's not received that way. Her perspective is a dysfunctional perspective, a distorted thought pattern, and it can be difficult. So I wanted to bring this up and share because I want to say if you were to consider anything like that about being your authentic self and not showing up in that situation like you always have and not feeling obligated to show up that way with your mom on your Mother's Day if you have mother wounds. And I mean, it's just a made up holiday, if you call it a holiday. It's something that the government put on the calendar so that we would spend more money. I mean, that's the way I see it. I spent a lot of time this morning looking for a Facebook post that I had done around Mother's Day years back because it was from my heart. I wrote it from my heart, and it was about this same topic around Mother's Day. And it was so elegantly written the way it came out on that Facebook post, but I couldn't find it. I would love to have read it here, but I could not find it. But don't let the pressure of Mother's Day being on the calendar and everybody else is giving flowers and cards and celebrating and honoring their moms, don't let that make you feel pressure. You probably will because, where that caretaker role is so ingrained in us at a very deep level, and we function through it a lot of times without even thinking. It's unconscious. And the guilt will come up. This is actually perfect now that I think about it because yesterday I did a video on feeling guilt and why we feel guilt and why we shouldn't feel guilt or why we should let the guilt just move up and out so that we can see the emotions that are really under that are driving us to feel guilty. And that is fear of being rejected, anger about having to go through what we went through and be treated that way, the fury of it all, and the grief of not getting what we would hope to get from a mother daughter relationship, a healthy one. So, yeah, I posted about that yesterday. And I also want to touch on here is that now, with me being a mother, I actually see this mother wound from both sides kind of thing because I too was mothering from my own childhood pain and trauma and distorted ways of thinking and communicating. And there was a lot of damage there for me. And I didn't have my daughter until I was 39. I was almost 40, very close to 40, only because I had her early. But I was supposed to have her very close to my 40th birthday, but she was premature 3 months. So I was 39 at the time. And I waited till 39 to have her because I kept telling myself, I know I've got a lot of trauma to heal. And when I have a child, I want to be able to do much better than my mom did. I don't want to hurt my child the way my mom hurt me. And so my whole life, I was doing personal development, trying to heal as much as I could. And at that point, my biological clock was ticking and running out very quickly. So I said, I was afraid to have a child because of that, because I didn't want to traumatize them the way I was traumatized. And I did not. traumatized my daughter the way I was traumatized, but because of my distorted thought pattern and my people pleasing patterns, right? Our communication, people pleasing is not the best way to raise a child because you're so worried about hurting their feelings. And a mother needs to be a good leader and not a people pleaser when they raise a child. And so there are things that I see now in my daughter that are a result of my people pleasing communication style and my inability to, a lot of times, help her regulate her own emotions. I didn't know how to regulate my own. So I do see things in her now that make it difficult for her around emotions, not as severe as mine. She's more introspective or outspoken than I was. And so we talk about it, and we are actively and consciously, both consciously, working on our mother daughter relationship. But I can say that now that there's this song that I heard recently, I had never heard of this singer or the song before, but the name of the song is called Both Sides. I think Both Sides Now. Let me look up the artist name. And I thought it was a beautiful song when I heard it. And it's about, she's singing about love from both sides now. I see love from both sides now. And that's what I think of when I think of this mother wound and now how I see it from both sides. I never ostracized my daughter the way my mom did. And my daughter and I do have a connection. I never had a connection with my mother. So we do have a bond and we do share things. We still make mistakes with each other in our relationship, but we're learning. We are consciously setting our intention to work on it and work on our relationship and have a better relationship. So I want to look up this song and give you the artist's name. Oh dear, don't tell me I'm not going to be able to find it. And I need to be quick. Here it is. Her name is Joni Mitchell. And the song is called Both Sides Now. And it's really a very pretty song. And if you're into music, and most people are, we have music that resonates with us and helps us and things like that. So if you want to look that up, but I don't think it's about mother's love. I think it's more about, romantic love. But I want to say that give yourself the love that you want. And I made another post at some point. It was a short one, and I wrote it down here on Mother's Day. Honor yourself by giving unconditional love and acceptance to your own inner child. And that's one of the ways that I healed that I've talked about in other videos. I gave myself mother's love. I reparented myself from both. I had to do it separately, different times, both from my mom and my dad. My dad didn't hurt me, but he wasn't able to take up for me and protect me from what she was doing. And I later found out as an adult that he saw it too, and my grandmother saw it too. And she didn't do anything about it to protect me. And she, apologized for that. So parent yourself, reparent yourself, and also right? That connection we have with our guides who are always here helping us. Ask for and be open to receive the Divine Mother's love. Mother Mary is there and she wants to be your best friend and she wants to hold your hand and walk with you. So love yourself. Give yourself a divine mother's love and then receive the Divine Mother's love and love from divine feminine energy. And I want to say the way I always end these videos from myself, my higher self, my guides, and Source. We see you, we honor you, we love you, and we trust you. Blessed be. You'll be okay working toward that Mother's Day. Try to really focus in, hone in. How do I feel? And if you feel like you are not in a place where you can call them, call your mom, that's okay. They will be okay. It will hurt them very much, but that's what you need to know. You already know. And know that it is okay. You're not trying to be spiteful. You're trying to take care of you. So I'm saying it's okay to choose you on Mother's Day.